This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 14, verses 25 to 33. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. One day, when large groups of people were walking along with him, Jesus turned and told them, "Anyone who comes to me but refuses to let go of father, mother, spouse, children, brothers, sisters, yes, even one's own self, can't be my disciple. Anyone who won't shoulder his own cross and fall behind me can't be my disciple. Is there anyone here who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure the cost so you'll know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun at you. He started something he couldn't finish." Or can you imagine a king going into battle against another king without first deciding whether it is possible with his 10,000 troops to face the 20,000 troops of the other? And if he decides he can't, won't he send an emissary and work out a truce? Simply put, if you're not willing to take what is dearest to you, whether plans or people, and kiss it goodbye, you can't be my disciple.
Reflections on the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 14, verses 25 to 33. Luke addresses these words of Jesus to the many converts of his communities who became Christians but believed that the gospel was too hard and it needs to be more practical. Luke makes it clear that the gospel demands are not negotiable. When we see many people leaving the church, we are worried because larger gatherings are considered better for the church's life. However, Luke presents a different picture of Jesus who appears disturbed at the sight of immense crowds following him. Jesus worries that the crowds misunderstood his words. Therefore, he begins to explain what it involves to be his disciple. It almost seems Jesus wants to keep people away rather than attracting them. The Lord places 3 challenging conditions, and failing to comply, one cannot be his disciple. The first condition: if you come to me unwilling to sacrifice your love for your father, mother, spouse, children, brothers, sisters, and indeed yourself, you cannot be my disciple. Is it possible to hate one's family to follow Jesus? Jesus had taught us to love everyone, even the enemies. The word hate refers to the choices one has to make to remain faithful to the gospel. To hate is to have the courage to break even the most special relationships, which causes impediments to following Jesus. Luke was reminding his communities to dissociate and oppose everything contrary to the gospel. These detachments are courageous gestures of genuine love. The second condition: whoever does not follow me carrying his own cross cannot be my disciple. Jesus may not have spoken about carrying the cross before his own death. Therefore, these words are of the risen Lord, who had conquered crucifixion. On their journey towards Jerusalem, the disciples would not have wanted even to think about carrying of cross. Cross was a punishment for crimes against the Romans. But after the resurrection, however, the meaning of the cross is transformed. The disciples are more receptive to the proposal. A sign of punishment and shame becomes a symbol of God's saving grace and love. The cross that Jesus carries is God's love for his humanity. Moreover, Jesus demands his disciples too to carry the labor of love. Carrying the cross does not mean accepting the pains and struggles of every day alone. Instead, it means living one's life for the love of God and neighbor. This is the cross that a disciple has to carry. The third condition: None of you may become my disciple if he does not give up everything he has. In the parable of the man building a watchtower in his field and the king going to war, where both of them do their calculations on their capacity to complete the task, Jesus reflects on the seriousness and commitment required for discipleship. The impulses and initial enthusiasm are insufficient to be a disciple, but constancy and perseverance. Unless you surrender everything to the Lord, you do not surrender anything.